watching the clock, 10,000 hours go by. I keep putting in work, the tears are filling my eyes. I swear I've never been tested like this, but this is mine. It's not a matter of chance, just a matter of time. Never look back. If something standing in my way, I always push back. If something seemed impossible, I never took that. Nah, cause now I know better. Can't stop, won't stop, I won't quit ever. This world is won't take me. The highest fall, it won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me, made me. I'ma get mine, just a matter of time.
Welcome back everyone to the LCK. My name is Joel and helping you guys with the Dangun and Bitol show as they do cover what just happened in that game 1, and a very interesting matchup indeed as we were looking through SKT and also Griffin and really saw how they really just showed the best of both teams, and we thought SKT would have really carried on their advantage, but it seems as if Griffin were just a little bit too much ahead and they are the ones to come out on top, and we're going to see a couple of highlights to really justify exactly how Griffin they did it and really see how SK Telecom could not overcome the rookie team in the end. And this was right here when the Swain did already go home and recall was already intact. Basically no vision right after those minions had died out. And really just looking through where Blank was going to be in the surrounding. You saw talk about the period being there, just right there, just coming for that teleport. Everything was no on the side of Griffin, and it seems like Chovy was just waiting for everyone to just come through, and it feels as if really a tough one for Period to really not come through that, because it seems like he just wanted to open up a 2-1 fight right around that river, but definitely one step ahead in terms of mind thinking was going to be Griffin, with Chovy just already waiting in that bush, and Period was just sitting duck as soon as he did arrive on that teleport. And let's look at some of those plays here in detail of how that plays came about. And Blank obviously going pretty extreme into trying to get the aggressive wards down both. You talk about that one ward and the control ward on the top of that jungle, and you really just putting out the flash coming in from the Cho'Gath was also a big win from Blank from his jungling phase of things. So big confidence coming from the SKT jungler earlier in that game. So we thought that he would just carry on with that advantage, try to make something out of it, and really just saw the Kindred huge advantage there. And look at it here. Of course, we see from SKT Blank getting the blue buff right there. It seems as if everything was caught off, and this is right here. You see basically Tarzan being caught away by that ward, and Blank obviously going with that control ward, knowing that he cannot be seen here. And it seems as if Tall and Blank were just sandwiching the Tarzan and really just looking for the ultimate all together and looking like to kill the Trundle, which became so easy with such just dominance they had in that vision just around the jungle. And kind of pity of Griffin to not check their bushes as well enough, because it seems as just a sweeper around that bottom tower, that jungle, and a little bit just looking around through that bush would have been enough for Tarzan to be less conspicuous of his situation, would have been more careful for it. But all through basically a big team fight in the end was the one to clinch win for the Griffin. But we'll see. Obviously lots of compliments coming from the fans about the team fight abilities coming in from Griffin, which has always been praised upon all throughout. And really the return of Blank has always been about the kind of the polarizing statement as to what that really means for a lot of fans out there. But really the return of Blank has been the case for this case, and we'll see how this will translate into Bitol's one-line summary. And of course we see how we'll see that. Let's see what he has to say. So Super Rise equals a Chovy type of champion, so that's gonna be the one-line summary. As if we didn't know already, Chovy is quite good at the Rise, and maybe you guys can justify that a little bit further as we pass it back to you.
I would say that he's just good at League of Legends, Chovy. He's had his, couple down moments. We've seen him rather start over him, but it's gonna be Viper picking up the MVP here for Game 1. Deathless on the Kai'Sa, his 8th victory as far as MVPs are concerned. So with climbing the standings.
But with Khan not playing as much and being subbed out, there is certainly the chance that he is either matched or eclipsed at 1,000 MVP points. It is a regular season award, in case you guys don't know. So Lava, Viper, the two most poised to try to take him down. Watching the replay here, Viper, very long farming phase. He went to the top side and we said, okay, he's got the Stormrazor, Rageblade, QSS. Now's the time to shine. And then he just kept ulting into people and shining, shining, shining. Such as Viper in his debut season, this rookie among this team of rookies has shined very brightly. This is the first time he got to free hit. And unfortunately, a free hitting 2-item Kai'Sa is pretty much GG.
Yeah, I mean, he was just raring and ready to go with those killer instincts constantly. As I'm sure we'll be seeing the final one that the cameraman wasn't even ready for. Had to zoom out just to try to fit him into the frame, but just keep finding those kills. Wonderfully done by them. And, we talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast. Griffin, we're more than happy to just kind of sit back, farm up, bleed a couple objectives over to SK Telecom. They did that, and you can see Pyrion trying to kill him, but it just doesn't do any damage.
He flew in, half health bang, almost killed Pyrion. That's one champion versus two, with no backup anywhere near. Such is the Kai'Sa. Have we got a new camera shot here? We do.
Oh,
ooh, that was aggressive. Blank almost accidentally dies.
Yeah.
Whoever walks up to challenge the Kai'Sa having a real bad time.
And yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation for Effort. And he's like, oh God, I don't know who to eat. Saves one, but they all die in the end, basically.
Congratulations to Griffin in game number 1. Remember, Griffin are gunning for first. If they go 2-0, 2-0 in their last 2 series, KT Rolster will also have to 2-0, 2-0. And KT are not known to be a particularly clean team. Griffin has to have a better game score than KT Rolster to finish first. Otherwise, KT will end up regular season number 1. So there's still plenty on the line for this game number 2.
See what these guys can pull off. At the moment, are in that first place spot. They got the +1. Can they get the +2?
Well, they have to finish the match, technically.
That's why I said, can they get the +2? He didn't let me finish. He didn't let me finish. When we're talking about letting them finish. But we'll go ahead and get the zoom in. You can tell that there will not be any swaps. So all of your copy pasta during the break didn't do jack, my friends. Still going to be Pyrion starting for SKT.
It's a whole lot of carbs that's out there, and someone will have to eat it. I wonder who it will be. As we zoom in on patch 8.14, match 81, game 2 of the 90 matches we play in the LCK regular season. 90 best of 3s, by the way. It's a lot of games, as I've found out twice now. But onto the bans here. Griffin actually first banned the Xayah against SKT. Effort is a pretty good Rakan player, but Bang Xayah does hold the most respect of that duo, so I appreciate it if you're trying to get rid of Xayah Rakan to ban the Xayah against SKT, and they banned the Syndra against Pyrion. Okay. I wonder what that's about.
Interesting.
It means the Rise first pick, I guess, goes up in value, as Syndra can definitely plop her spheres onto Rise and solo kill him.
Is SKT going to final ban Talia, or does that make it through? It's another question.
Ban away the
Kindred will be
Kindred.
taken off the board.
Very tertiary bans here. We're definitely not seeing the high-value bans from Griffin in terms of the meta, but they are banning stuff against clearly what they want to play. Trundle's still available. Seems like SKT going to leave it open another time. The KDA did take a battering from the side of Tarzan.
Let's see what he finished with. I think he just had the 1 death. So.
I mean, 1 death when you only had 2 was definitely going to be a battering anyway.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's going to limit it, but got some kills and assists in there, so trying to mitigate.
We've had
as
some
much as you can.
10-0 picks in the past. It'd be cool to see a 10-0, and, well, seems like Tarzan's going to be setting up for the 10-0 Trundle.
They're going for it.
If they can pick up the victory here.
SKT, no Kindred this time out. It was a good start overall for Blank there.
Flex
But where do they go now?
Cassiopeia will be really fun.
Show me the Garen.
You know, I don't know if the SKT fans would tolerate that if it was lost.
Show me the Garen, please. All right, Jace, I can accept. That'll be fine. So Jace coming through. More than likely going to be for Tall in the top lane. Not sure if Bang has been practicing up his Jace, as we saw Viper attempt that bot lane pick just the other day.
A very common blind pick. Tal in their win streak with Period in the lineup is 3-0 on the Jace, so lane priority makes sense. With the Syndra ban, the Rise priority was always going to be first round from Griffin. That's why you see it hovered here. Could be top lane into the Jace, but most likely will be another game from Chovy in the mid lane. So far, 2 of the 5 pieces have remained the same for Griffin. Do they want a first round Kai'Sa again, you do wonder?
Might be banned away by SKT. Massive pick for Viper. Maybe you want them to ban the Kai'Sa, and then you go to the Teemo.
Seems like you're going to the Pyke this time.
Ooh.
If SKT want Ezreal, you imagine the Teemo will be banned. Unless SKT feel like it's been something they can engineer a downfall to. Pyke, one of the backup picks for Lehens, 3-1 on the season. Can ult through the grey health. That's the fun mechanic there. Just like it can kill Alistar if he's below a certain health. It's all about health numbers.
Yep.
As those health numbers are going to be inflated.
Orianna.
The shield's coming in from Orianna. Pyrion's recent Orianna performances haven't been great. Did play it a couple of times in their last series. Honestly, he had a pretty poor game 1 as well. So looking for Pyrion to recapture some of the form that did propel him in terms of the mid lane rankings here in Korea.
So Gnar, first ban back out here for SKT into the second half. Did we just see the same ones? It was Gnar LeBlanc for them in game 1.
With the Rise
Oh,
there.
the Rise is already out.
But it could be a top laner, so there is always the chance that you consider putting in a ban. As we've seen the Elise ban, a very old pick for Blank. Tarzan's the only ones that played it, but Blank seems pretty quizzical about this one.
I mean, it's been some interesting bans overall from the side of Griffin here. The Syndra is still the one that really juts out.
Even though they lost with the Elise versus Umti's Trundle in their series last time out, Griffin, the Elise was considered a good pick into specifically the Trundle because of the ability to repel over the pillar or just queue around the pillar and still get some decent trades in. So trying to provide a bit of defense for Tarzan's Trundle. Really looking for that 10-0, I guess, the spotless record. Second ban here. Could be anything given the Syndra and Elise bans. How about that Quinn ban?
Oh, nope. So Malphite and Varus to go ahead and finish us off. So SKT is making sure that Tall can have as easy of a time in the top lane as humanly possible.
Who's in the bot lane? I wonder. Is it going to be... They're actually going to hold their marksman pick for last. We very rarely see this. This would be Jungle Gragas coming through from Blank.
So they want to force Griffin to blind pick the Teemo if it came down to it.
They just don't want to deal with the Teemo.
Yeah.
We noticed, or at least I think I noticed, Bang mouthing about Teemo in the booth during the champion select for game number 1 when he took the Varus. So clearly they're well aware of it.
I mean, I get it. No one wants to deal with Teemo.
No.
Doesn't matter if it's solo queue, even just a normal game. Teemo, it sucks to play against. It's annoying.
There's stronger laners than Cho'Gath available, but they are setting up Cho'Gath Kai'Sa here, you would have to say. Kai'Sa and Pyke sounds really weak, so maybe you can't actually afford to go Kai'Sa, but Kai'Sa would be very explosive with this team comp. Do they actually feel bold enough to pick it?
Running down the clock, and
do it anyway.
Okay.
The screw it Kai'Sa is very, very powerful in this lineup with so much ability to set up the plasma, but the Jace poke annoying for Kai'Sa, the lane counter pick is going to be annoying for Kai'Sa. Seems like it's going to be Ezreal Tahm Kench after all. So it was Bang saying, no Teemo, I want to play Ezreal, let me last pick it, damn it.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. You just got eliminated from playoffs. You don't want to have to deal with that extra nonsense of the Teemo coming through. So will be Ezreal Tahm Kench for the most standard bot lane here for SKT. Orianna for Pyrion, though. Going to be looking for an improved performance from him out of the mid side and see how Tall is going to be doing on the Jace. So we can get another victory there.
Griffin, once again, they're back to 1-3-1, but Jace is really good in the side lane, and unless the Jace gets sent behind, you imagine Cho'Gath will have pretty limited breathing room. You can go very interesting builds in this matchup. You can go into something like to play the Ruin King to have a bit more threat onto the Cho'Gath. But if they can patrol the 1-3-1 and fly in with 2.5 item Kai'Sa, we already have a very recent data point to show how bold Griffin will be in the 5v5 if Viper gets his items.
Do we get another Trinity Force Jace coming in?
I hope not.
Made an appearance. Wasn't that great?
No, I think not in this matchup. Play the Ruin King more of the situational item. But it sounds like we're having a couple of client issues, so maybe
yeah.
gonna have a little bit of a delay. If we can load in straight, that'd be perfect. Griffin,
the
desperate
players,
for that 2-0.
The players were unable to swap, so don't lose your minds. It is not going to be Tom Kench going in for Big. It's, yeah, just a slight little issue. So draft is going to be remaining the same. Just have to rebuild the lobby, get the picks in, and then
a
it'll
draft
go for it.
issue. We've seen a lot of those this season.
You know, it's been a couple. Everyone's kind of had some draft issues every now and then.
Speaking of draft issues, Griffin has had some really terrible drafts.
They've had some really confusing ones as of late. I mean, it was a very confusing start to the draft as well. We're like, okay, yeah, ban the Xayah. Syndra. Oh. Well, all right then. The Rise kind of brings it together in the end, though.
It seemed like it was very clear. If you're going to ban Syndra, you think about what's in the meta, and Rise is one of the few that doesn't really have any answers to the Syndra, so makes sense to ban it if you really want Rise. See if Chovy can really firmly get the Rise 1-3-1 into his champion pool, staying through lane with all of that lane sustain, and going for the all-in. The stakes much higher for Griffin than they are for SKT in this series. SKT, they're looking for a bounce back. They're looking to make their fans happy with a match victory. Griffin setting up for as good a game score as possible to challenge KT Rolls to ult to the final day. There's a very real chance, Achilles, that final match of the season, KT versus MVP, will be KT looking for a 2-0 to make it all the way to first spot.
Well, just to remind you, this is going to be the lineup here on either side. The picks coming through, so not going to have that Tom Kench. On Bang will be the swap. Just couldn't quite get it there. The client, a slight little issue. But getting that remade, so we should be ready to jump into game 2 here very shortly. See if SKT can bring back a win, put that on the board. If not, just get the match victory if they can extend us to a game 3. And like you said, try to just give something to the fans here now that they have been denied the playoffs, just trying to find a win to make them happy.
Think about how far away Worlds qualifiers are. The LCK final is the first week of September, so Worlds qualifiers will be later than that. The amount of stage experience for SKT, it's today, it's in a few days against Kingzone on the final day of the season, and then no more stage experience till they play, potentially, in those Worlds qualifiers. Not 100% qualified, but you'd say odds on to make it to at least one best of 5. So SKT need to really seize any stage experience they can get before those best of 5s roll around.
I mean, and from there, you get qualified for Worlds, you don't have to wait too long before you're jumping in there. The schedule was released, so it's coming up fast and hot, man. Worlds gonna be right around the corner. But SKT, they wish that they had more time. They wish that this was gonna be a longer season, probably. Some more opportunities to build on this roster, try to find some success, but unfortunately, will not be moving forward into those summer playoffs. But seems like we got the lobby ready to go. We're back into game. So guys, let's see if SKT can put a victory on the board, extend it to a game 3, or if Griffin will find yet another 2-0 win.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Here we go. Effort almost had a lead.
I'm enjoying the random
Oh.
voice sound issue that we get where everyone seems a lot louder when it comes to character voices. That's a badass drawing of Griffin.
That's great.
Love it. What's Faker doing there? I couldn't tell.
It looked like he was staring at a trash can.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
Your words. I didn't see it. I don't know what happened there.
I'm just making an observation. That's all it looked like.
Turns out some observations sound a bit ominous, like, oh, is that Faker circling a drain? Like, no, that's not what we saw. But we do see Tal on the lane-dominant top side, and potentially a Gragas to help him out. You remember the level 2 gank never happened onto Sword last time. Might be a level 1 gank here.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for it. Sword taking quite a bit of damage, holding onto the flash as long as he can. The Rupture will, in fact, save his life. See if he sticks around. Does have that innate sustain built into the passive. It seems like he'll just be going into the lane. Ward coming down. Potions running.
He has Rupture level 1, which doesn't help him too much in terms of pushing. The last time I remember Rupture level 1 versus a Jace being relevant, that was Longzhu versus SKT final last year. where Huni got the direst treatment in a big way, for sure. But he's watching Tarzan here. He knows that Blank was starting top side onto his blue. So right now, just going for guaranteed 2 buffs as Tarzan. Hitting that hammer onto, staff I should guess, onto the Grump. Looking at the runes here, you see the cut down. He's against Cho'Gath, so cut down definitely makes sense for the chase.
I would say club.
Clubbing, that's better.
But, yeah, he'll just be pushing through. See if he can get that 10th win. Be a very nice streak for him here with this Trundle, and I think would become a must-ban. Already kind of is, but here we are for the 2nd time in a row.
I think I saw a guy dressed as this, just like Trundle at the club yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, in Hongdae, you see that all the time, man.
Well, Pyrian getting collapsed upon. Trying to rotate over towards Blank, and they'll just go ahead and give up the chase.
Good lane positioning from Pyrian, playing towards top side, which is where his jungler was. The old vertical jungling mechanics, where you want to stay on the side your jungler's on. Blank himself, going to make a visit, but this is all going to be pretty expected, you would say, by the side of Griffin.
Best thing is that Pyrian did not have to use any of his summer spells to get out of there, so holds on to those. So the next gank from Tarzan also might not find a kill.
It's a real headache when you're facing a Ryze Trundle as Orianna because your cleanse has no value against the pillar, so if you flash, you're really in a lot of strife.
I think Tarzan just juked out of the way of that scrying plant, so not sure if he was spotted at all.
One sword, get one of those last hits. Oh, he won't be able to see. Oh, he missed a few. Struggle Street on the top side. Viper and Lehends have gone for this very, let's say, it feels a bit kind of anemic in the laning phase, the Kai'Sa and Pyke. If you had complete vision and could play super aggressively, there's obviously validity to it, and as level 6 rolls around, the kill pressure comes in, but in terms of 2v2 trades, Pyke is a bit of a win more support, and we already know about Kai'Sa's weakness in the laning phase, but more and more AD carries in Korea feeling bold enough to play it. The awesome dudes forced out. Chovy doesn't get the cannon minion. I know, I had to play-by-play that. I was totally tired.
Well, that's just going to be the bone skewer in. Dragging effort forward. Takes a lot of damage. Go ahead and pop that shield. And it's like, oh, I'm not 6 yet.
Bang could have looked for something a bit more dominating in the trades against Kai'Sa. Varus is always seen as that strong laner that can potentially put the hurt onto a Kai'Sa, especially if you go for, say, a lethality Varus build, but Ezreal doesn't really fit into that. Seems like it's more about the safety to juke the Rupture or dodge the Rise in a team fight, more so than the ability to actually take aggressive trades against Viper.
Well, Blank just going to be spotted out. Pushing forward, trying to clear out any vision that he can. No wards at the moment, so can't throw anything down. But just waddling along. We'll go back into the jungle. Where now Bang and Effort start pushing over in towards Griffin's turret here in the bottom lane.
In a good spot for Viper, able to pick up the farm. With the minion dying, can't quite get a freeze, but things very comfortable for Griffin on the bottom side, and no aggressive moves from Blank, since we saw the earlier level 1 invade onto top side.
Just saw the ping come out, so actually tracking Blank quite well is the side of Griffin. So, surmising that he's going to be around that Gromp. Just warning Viper and Lehends, don't get too feisty there in the bottom lane. Don't push up, because that Gragas might just appear.
And the level 1 invade was all about setting up vertical jungling for the Jace. Jace, when he has... Oh, okay.
Oh, that's going to be another one. And we're not taking nearly as much damage this time. Just turnaround hits onto Lehends.
The theory is you want Jace to have the run of the top lane to overextend against Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath pushing up, and this is the first time we're actually seeing Tarzan adjust his positioning topside. He's here for a counter gank. Blank isn't actually going to enact a true gank onto the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, both just kind of going their separate ways, tall, straight in underneath the towers, so don't really want to go for a dive yet, even though you have that Cho'Gath with a feast. Still a bit too risky. A lot of outplay potential with the Jace.
Vertical jungling has ended. We're reaching a bit more parity. Griffin farming it up, and it's pretty similar to what we saw in game number 1 from the side of Griffin. Very much about hitting item timings on Kai'Sa, and that's when the 1-3-1 is what they're heavily going to index onto. So the less interactive it is when Storm Razor, Rage Blade are being built. Maybe you can skip the QSS this time. So just the Storm Razor, and Rage Blade is what's needed for Viper. After that, the boy's ready to go.
Being there for the Ezreal. Still just going to be stacking up the tier, so bang. Be slow on the damage for now. Lahen's in mid, just going to be roaming back through. And we saw very early Drake in game 1. I think it was about 6 minutes, 40 seconds or so when we saw that Cloud Drake taken. Now we're at 7.5 minutes with an Infernal to start us off, and not really any vision in this bottom side of the river whatsoever.
With no Varus, with the Ezreal coming in, they haven't actually doubled down on a control area of the map for SKT. Control wards helping out the Cho'Gath top side, but SKT have basically no vision line, so waiting to see them actually put down some control wards. 2 for Gragas, 1 for Tahm Kench in the inventory. I assume the one in the lane might be Tahm Kench's. So SKT don't really control a strong area of the map, which is a conundrum when you're really trying to accelerate before a certain item timing onto Griffin. You might say, okay, Ezreal has a strong item timing as well, but that item timing should come earlier because it's cheaper, and you want the vision pre-laid for Iceborne Gauntlet or Trinity Force Ezreal to be able to actually set up a siege or set up an aggressive play. And right now, that seems like it's not going to be possible for the side of SKT.
Trying to throw down a ward there into the Tribe Rush, but control is up. So just going to be denying the vision away. 1 control ward thrown down by SKT onto the back of that red pit. Give them a little bit of vision over towards the Raptors. Still lacking a bit around the Dragon. Blank's pushing it at the moment. He's just going to start this up with his ward into the back. Now he's spotting this as he sweeps it out. Tarzan's nearby. Bang wrapping around. They see him over the wall.
Good to tank more damage from the Drake. And around half health.
Going to be able to get an attempt on this one. Would have to flash in. There's no blast cone.
There's the contest, though.
They're wrapping around. Tarzan looking to push in. It's going to go low. That's going to be a smite coming down, but maybe the first blood over the side of Griffin. They will, in fact, find it. Tarzan taking that one away. Toby flashes out. Great cast comes through the shockwave from Pyrion, just bouncing him around like a ping pong ball. He will get eliminated. They turn it back now, looking for a third. As they get that Bone Skewer in on Pyrion, he'll flash over the wall. Manages to make it out with his life. A 2-for-1 Dragon over to SKT.
Hands play that almost perfectly. X marked the spot on 2 occasions with that ultimate. They weren't able to steal away the Drake. The 2-for-1 overall. It's definitely not a death knell to SKT, but anything that accelerates the time and the gold game that's going on here does mean Viper. It's much more of a chance to finish those items. Speaking of Viper,
yeah, looking for him. He's going to get tagged by that missing shot. Bang comes over the wall. Viper does have a flash should he need to use it. Tongue Lash going to get juked out. Tarzan's here. And now maybe they try to turn this around. The pillar is perfectly placed. Effort going to get locked in, but pops a shield, and Griffin don't want to overextend. They will just let him go.
Well, Summoner's there. Good backup from Trundle on the bot side means that Viper doesn't have to use the flash like you mentioned. Didn't see if he got the gold for the second kill. I believe the first one was onto Tarzan. So Tarzan got the shared gold. I didn't see the kill number 2 when it comes to...
We'll check it out in the replay.
I don't know if we actually see who gets the kill credit there, the secondary kill credit from Lahen's, but still, that extra gold is going to be the reason that Griffin are marginally ahead in gold in this game.
Yep. If you can get that onto the Kai'Sa, build up those items much faster. Now it's going to be a jump in on the Blank Pillar coming down. Bone Skewer to flip it back in. There's nothing he can do. No flash. Body slam. Wouldn't have taken him anywhere. So Blank will just go down 3-1 now for Griffin.
While since we've seen Lahen's have such a strong early game. It started the season on his Shen, popping off left, right, and center. People call him one of the best supports in Korea. And he eventually was receiving double support bans and defaulting to Morgana. And while they'd win games, it wasn't an uncommon sight to see him die 2v2 in lane with no jungle intervention. Lahen's was really struggling champion pool-wise. So seeing him pop off onto this Pyke is a really good sign for the team of Griffin here in game number 2. The Storm Razor is done as well. And it's a 1-item power spike before even the Manamune or the Trinity Force is done for Bang. And Lahen's has just cleared out 3 control wards and got a successful gank off in 1 passage of play.
I mean, that is just a scary looking Kai'Sa at the moment. Tarzan hovering up near the top side of the map. Looks like he's not going to be finding any entry here onto the Jace, however. No, Tall's still just going to be farming away. Trying to get his items in, but not sure if this Jace is going to be enough to try to turn things around for SKT.
Yeah, he's got a 30 CS lead, but has already lost control of the top side, as we noticed. They're waiting for him to use the To the Skies, otherwise this is a little bit harder to pull off. Trying anyway.
Oh, that's going to be the Rupture coming down. Accelgate comes out. He's down to half HP. The Beast comes in, and Sword will have the final blow. It was an isolating phase, very calm for Tall, but suddenly his world was flipped upside down.
And Sword has been so good about the Rupture in this series. 2 huge Ruptures in that highlight play at the end of game number 1, and now setting that one up as well. Difficult ability to hit reliably. Speaking of reliable abilities.
Charging in underneath the tower. Chovy going to get Shockwave. That's going to be the body slam blocked by the Pike, but Chovy's still going to fall as he tries to get out of there. Abyssal Voyage coming in. Lehens answers one back as he takes down Blank. But it will be a nice swift pickup here for the side of Pyrion on the Orianna.
Important that Lehens actually got kill credit to Chovy, though, by pulling off the ultimate. So that's a lot of kill credits shared here onto the mid laner. But it's a nice rotation by SKT. They had the Abyssal Voyage coming at the same time. Gonna back away very quickly, though. They know that Sword is roaming down from top side with Tarzan, so will not be a mid lane turret after the 2-for-1 and kill.
Yeah, a lot of damage, but can't answer it back. We'll go ahead and take another look at this. Very aggressive wrap around there from Lehens.
Chovy bounced in twice. Good accuracy on those casks by Blank. But kill credit does get shed with the Rise, and that's the only unfortunate thing about that play from the side of SKT.
Blank's their death here in this game too. Keeps getting caught, keeps going down. But like you said, the cask accuracy has been good, and the shockwaves there to line him up afterward or to set him up at the start. So the combo potential is there, but they need Blank to survive.
They're only trading evenly, even though they have a pressure draft with the Jace, where they had the counter pick in bot lane, went safe with the Ezreal. SKT can still play a really strong rotational game. While we look at Griffin and say 1-3-1, SKT have a lot of options here. They can also play the 1-3-1. They have great ability to rotate between lanes as well with the Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage. But if more moments like this happen...
Yeah, they're looking for Tall. He's going to flash to the other side. Killer Instinct comes down to the skies in onto Viper. Takes him low. Shock Blast hits that auto. Almost finishes him off, but Tarzan is able to scoop up the kill. Takes down Tall. He almost made that a 1-for-1. But can't pull it off in the end. Now it's going to be the body slam in. Chovy pinned to the wall. That's going to be used. Shockwave comes out, but Lehens dashes to the side. The turret will still fall. SKT pick that up, trying to keep themselves competitive here in this game too.
Viper could teleport in if they want. That's why Griffin is sticking around.
Bang played very aggressively far forward. The TP coming in from behind. That's going to be Viper arriving. Drops down. Dashes over to the side. Now he's going to be isolated. Tarzan trying to buy him some space here as Chovy gets a lockdown to the Rune Prison onto Effort. He is dangerously low, however. The shot's coming through. The barrel going to slow him up. It's a jump forward. That's going to be the kill coming in off the back of the Dissonance. Now Sword limping his way out of the fight. Makes it back safely behind the tower. But SKT, they're the ones with the pressure.
Voyage.
They see Viper. He's standing on top of the scuttle. Trying to get some damage in onto Effort. Blank gets the hit. And that is going to be the kill going over to Pyrion. Finds another one here for this Orianna. Suddenly, it's 5-6. SKT only down by 400 gold.
Teleport too aggressive from the Kai'Sa too early. There aren't those 2 items that they were in game number 1. We saw Kai'Sa pop up left, right, and center. And lose multiple kills. Dissonance being on such a short cooldown after the buffs means they had the utility to always chase for the kills, and they get the Rift Herald as well.
Every kill is on Pyrion right now. He is 5-0 on this Orianna, end up in CS. He's going to be an absolute monster with his 10-stack Dark Seal.
And everyone on Griffin is short-range Achilles, so the 3000 ELO Shockwave is certainly a possibility. A lot of them slippery, but you take the wrong Realm Warp right into the Shockwave, it's going to be a bad time.
Yeah. Griffin, we'll see what they can do to try to stabilize, or if SKT can just steamroll from here despite the very rough start. It's great moves around the map coming through from Griffin. Lehens, especially on this Pike, so impactful around the map. But getting way too far ahead of themselves, getting too aggressive, that TP into the back just delivers Viper to his own death.
But because so much gold has been shared from Lehens, there is a lot of unseen kill credit and gold on the side of Griffin. That's why the game is right up there. 300 gold lead for SKT, even though there's a very nice CS lead in top and a decent one in mid lane, already enacted by SKT's laners. Still, Griffin were able to lose the minimum in game number 1. Lose with grace, it kind of felt like. But game number 2, they've been a bit more bloodthirsty. They've opted into some uneven trades. Now they once again need to be respectful and wait for that second item on the Kai'Sa.
Second dragon over to SKT as they get the Cloud. A lot of damage coming through from the Orianna. As you can see so far here for the first 16 minutes of the game. We'll be leading. See just how many kills Pyrion can get, or whether or not Griffin can shut him out. But pretty high octane game, as we have another Infernal on the way. So far it's been a very good series for that.
Just rotate around the Kai'Sa. Deny her waves, deny her turrets, deny her safe places to farm. It's SKT's current game plan. They want to see him no Rage Blade for ages. They're turning on to Pyrion. It's going to be difficult.
The the silence is there.
As a science.
Not good because he missed the rupture.
You are my favorite League of Legends scientist. Vandrel's my second favorite. They're out the wave, but just keep rotating around Kai'Sa, delaying that Rage Blade. Is smart movements from SKT. See if they can keep this up. No Baron yet spawned, but you'd imagine they'll have first control over that objective when it does eventually come up.
SKT working their way around the map, have all of the outer turrets taken here at the moment. Now going to be looking for the inners.
Jace is built for the lane against Cho'Gath. That's why on the turret dive before, Blade the Ruin King would have probably been outclassed by something like a Duskblade of Jack-Thar. Maybe that would have been a dead Kai'Sa that time around, but has built to try to dunk on Cho'Gath, and we'll have that lane assignment for the majority of the game, so you definitely understand it. Red buff claimed by Viper, but he's giving up minion waves pretty frequently. You'll notice that Ezreal isn't trying to push them super fast, because really it is about that delay onto Kai'Sa as much as possible for SKT.
Well, they've got some wards thrown down here to Griffin to try to keep Viper safe in that bottom lane. So double control on that side of the jungle. Standard on the back of the red pit. Just to try to alleviate some of that pressure, allow him to feel comfortable in pushing this far forward to get the waves.
Control what ward spots you see are important because it's all about being in Abyssal Voyage range. If they can have an Abyssal Voyage unseen and potentially just take down the Kai'Sa, who's not going to find a lot of utility from Lehends, who much more priced in to be roaming for kills than trying to provide defensive utility for a Kai'Sa. That'd be good news. And already Kai'Sa gives up on farming bot side, roams with the team. Someone's going to have to give up farm if they're sharing experience between Kai'Sa and Ryze or Kai'Sa and Cho'Gath.
Well, you see that Baron's getting ready to spawn, and they have a lockdown here on the Blank. Killer Instinct comes down, the cask pushes them away. Blank making it out with his life for the moment, but Chovy arrives for the Realm Warp and shuts him down. The Overload does enough damage. And now, the Gragas is gone, but still too risky for Griffin to start up this Baron here at the 20-minute mark.
Baron speed with no second item on Kai'Sa, not fast enough to risk it like you allude to, Achilleos, so smart to just pull away, take the kill. It gets you map control, it gets Kai'Sa more minion waves because there's less members. Then should be dunking on the Kai'Sa. Take a small lead and just pull back is what Griffin decide. Smart move from them, and Sword working on his Warmogs to try to just ignore the damage from Jace as much as possible.
Oh, another great catch there onto the Gragas. It is over half of the kills right now from Griffin.
Gonna have to hit those costs to justify some of the deaths. Down about 1,000 gold on Trundle.
The early casks were very good. That was another good one. It looked like he was maybe going to make it out with his life, but the Realm Warp from Chovy was just well placed, and he had enough damage.
But you can understand how SKT fans probably have a bit of pause when it isn't Faker or Bang that have the execution expectation. If they don't have all the gold, you're like, oh, I'm not sure about Pyrion. His last Orianna game wasn't so good. If it's Blank, you've of course had the war stories of some of his struggles before, so there is always going to be that extra degree of just reservation about the execution from Blank and Pyrion. Pyrion, like you mentioned, he's cleaned up all the kills. He is very strong. The Shockwave is set up to succeed because of how mid to short range Griffin are. But until you see it, if you're an SKT fan, you're waiting to see it.
See if you can find the big 3+ man connection with it. as we go deeper into this game. SKT is still holding the lead at the moment. 1.6 in their favor with the Double Dragons.
Good game.
It is a very good game. I liked the Double Dragons cross with Battletoads.
Where are you on your favorite childhood side-scrolling beat-em-up game? Like Golden Axe, Shinobi, I guess, stuff like that. What's your favorite there?
It would probably be Double Dragon X Battletoads.
I'm a Golden Axe man.
Okay.
Classic Golden Axe. I had it on the PC. Played through it so many times. It was really hard. I was young.
Now I'm just surprised because there's well, as we say that, 2 towers going to be falling here.
This is just Griffin giving up a lot of tempo around the map, trying to once again get those items. Notice still no Rage Blade on the Kai'Sa.
Anyone's taken. Chovy applying some pressure in top, but will be going back. He's afraid that somebody's collapsing, so he's taking the Realm Warp out.
He had a control ward line, but clearly wasn't taking any liberties.
But yeah, thinking a new Battletoads game. I think that was the biggest surprise for me at E3, was when they announced that.
I don't know.
suppose it could be a remaster. I'm not sure, but the fact that they showed anything for that was shocking.
All right, let's play a real game. How far did you get in Battletoads? I couldn't get past the second level, the one where you go down into that pit. That's a really hard level.
I beat the bike level. I remember when you have to dodge.
You actually finished it?
Yeah, I did finish that, but I didn't make it much further past that.
I have no idea how many levels there are because I could never finish the bike level.
I'm not positive. I could look it up to try to reaffirm where I made it to, but yeah, it wasn't very far into that game, I'm sure. But
Tricky game.
Second Infernal going to be going over to SKT.
Now Tarzan walks up. They're spotted on a ward here. We know all about the creative vision around the Baron that can spot out movements like this. And, of course, teams will eventually realize, wait, they're not walking up. That means that they have a ward around here. Still, it feels like SKT are excelling in the side lanes for now, as only Chovy has been able to find any ability to hit the side wave. The Hen's setting up around here, but again, SKT should be able to diagnose this pretty easily.
There's that ward right outside the pit that they have not spotted.
Yep.
And that is showing all of their movements. Griffin trying to be sneaky, but SKT are perfectly aware of everything happening.
All you need is one ward, and then you have the Q on Orianna and Ezreal to check Brush, so the chances of face checks against a comp like SKT's are super low. Nice steal from Tal.
Takes that one away. Nice shock blast, and that's going to make him even more of a thorn in the side of this Cho'Gath with the red buff.
SKT way more ahead in game number 2 than they were in game number 1. They had a good early game in game number 1, but here in game 2, it's double Infernal. It is a 5-0 Orianna with a huge stack of ability power, 2.5 items, and a 10-stack Dark Seal. And the third item is rolling from Bang. So Griffin have to be oh so careful. They might finally say, hey guys, we have those 2 items on Kai'Sa, but the enemy is way more ahead and way more accelerated in terms of gold. It's a higher gold game because it's been 12 kills and 6 turrets going down. So execution gets even more tricky for the side of Griffin, and right now it feels like everyone is boxing with shadows before one titanic fight might just decide the entire game.
SKT pushed back in, clearing out the control wards inside of the pit. 3 members of Griffin hovering in that top lane. We'll just start recalling here in the brush. Still pressure being applied in the bot by Tal on that Jace. Keeping Sword occupied.
Lost in a turret. Nice. On the top side, they're actually looking to gank Tal.
Yeah, they're diving in. Tal's going to be dead. Sword finds that killing blow. The Beast is going to be used, though.
They both have teleport, so a Baron start isn't going to be enough here. They need picks.
They're looking for Lehens. Trying to hound him down. Effort. Going forward. Gets a tongue lash. Lehens is going to go golden. But still, caught out dashes through the pillar. Keeping the rest of the members of SKT back, and Lehens will
Double
make it out with
TP.
their lives, and now SKT are getting pinched on Sword. Not going to land the Rupture, still just playing up here.
Watch for the Shockwave.
With this Cho'Gath. It's going to be the cast coming down, knocks him away. The Shockwave comes down, only going to be finding Tarzan. It's not enough to kill him. Griffin find that Bone Skewer in on the blank, pull him back, but there's not much follow-up, but they manage to survive.
Low health bar, but the Gargoyle's Stone Plate is enough temporary health to not die. A smite advantage there with the teleport coming out from Tal in 5 seconds. Could have meant Baron to SKT. Very important to Griffin that their jungler stays alive.
Everyone scatters to the wind. Going back over to the lanes. Playing this one out normally. Griffin have only been able to take 1 tower. It was for that first brick in the top lane. Otherwise, SKT have been dominating as far as the map control is concerned. Tarzan pushing forward. He's a lot of damage. That's going to be the flash body slam coming in. He's going to flash away, throws on the subjugate to try to stay alive, and it might just be enough, and it's going to be Blake getting melted. Tarzan still finds the killing blow. Now no smite available. Griffin can come back through. They have a smite. They have a feast. They might be able to get this Baron.
They don't have a realm warp, so the chase here is really hard unless Little Hands can God Hand.
The jump forward, he's looking for it. Sword goes in, gets the rupture. Shockwave comes down, finds two. They take a lot of damage, and that is going to be Sword getting eliminated. The rest of Griffin running for the hills. SKT hold them off, and that's going to be no Baron here for Griffin, despite the fact that they get the Gragas at the start.
They're too greedy looking for future kills when they don't have tools to make it happen. A flash on Cho'Gath, a Righteous Glory is not going to be enough. Killer Instinct was on cooldown at the time. Viper has to rush his way to bot lane to stop this turret just going down to minions at 27 minutes in. There is a 2-turret lead in the bot side, so those minions do extra damage. Trying to get that pushing advantage. There will be consistently pushing lane in the bot side when it's 2 turrets to 0. There's so much standing gold for Griffin to try to answer. You need to be so careful about which spots they choose to fully commit to.
On a knife's edge this game right now. 9-6, Griffin still leading in kills, but still behind in gold.
And of course, another kill rolls down to Pyrion. He has 100% kills on the side of SKT, 6-0-0. A reverse special agent here. Nothing secret about this agent. This is a very conspicuous agent. His effort, well, he's got a lot of bad guys.
He's got a shield. He'll pop it, but he doesn't have a flash. Goes golden here, the Baron. Gonna get started up. Feast's gonna be burned by Sword as he does get knocked down to about half HP, but he'll be able to regen that up pretty quickly here. So another pick off for Griffin, but it's not enough to net them a free attempt on the Baron. They still have to play this one slowly because they don't have that much control of the map.
Because it's Orianna Ezreal, they don't actually even think they can draw the teleport out of Tal, so they will back off. Try to find a pick onto him. It is Conqueror onto Tal, something we haven't mentioned. But again, even more threat onto the Cho'Gath. He has a ridiculous amount of armor penetration, 35% total armor penetration on the Lord Dominic's after that off-season change. It does a hell of a lot of damage as Tarzan face checks here.
Okay, yeah, just comes over the wall. Red buff getting taken. And that's just going to be the smite. Tarzan brings it back over to the side of Griffin after that last steal that we saw Tall pull off.
Okay, leashing the Cloud Drake. This will be the 4th Drake of the game for SKT. If they take it now, a 5th would spawn before the Elder. Hard to say whether they'd prefer there to be another small Drake or an Elder Dragon spawning earlier.
Oh,
we know what this play is.
Yeah, they're just going to try to burn this one down. Tall's into the bottom side. They try to expose that inhibitor, and he has a teleport. Nice rupture, stopping them up. The Gragas is going to be over the wall. Blank, can he pull this one off? Throws down the cast, but it's not going to happen. He comes in too late after the Baron is dead. Shockwave connects in onto 3. His Viper falls down to about half HP. First kill comes in. It's going to be Heads getting taken out, but an exchange on the supports comes through.
Viper!
As Everett's going to die. Viper goes forward. He's going to fight 3. Gets taken down. Bang. Finally getting rid of that Kaisa, but Griffin have control. They have the Baron. Bang. Getting locked up. Getting taken down. Sword finds the killing blow. The inhibitor's exposed on the bottom side, but I don't think Griffin give a damn because now they have control.
Second time on the aggressive use is the charm. This game from Viper, the triple kill. With this Baron buff means they will get structures to the gold they were craving before. Only the 2nd turret of the game. They want to make it a very long mid lane here to Griffin. Knocking on the base, but very unlikely to break the base just yet.
We'll go ahead, finally putting some extra towers on the board. Blank just throwing down a barrel. Limply just offering that forward, hoping that Griffin turns away, and they will. They have a lot of gold to spend now as they go back to base.
This ends up going down. Let's watch how it gets low. So Tom Kench also probably has Smite at this point. And this is a crap fest, to be honest, around who's going to pick up the Baron. It ends up being the Kaisa of all people. Yep. We think it's going to be just a single kill afterwards, but Viper decides to flash in. Gets an 800 gold bounty into 300 gold for 1100 gold to even further accelerate the build. Definitely a high roll at the casino for Viper.
Crazy surge of money coming through. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the damage. Yep. Massive numbers in that last fight coming through for this Kaisa. Viper again brings this pick out, and on his back, they might be able to close out this game over SKT. They're not out of the woods yet. There's 4 dragons there for SKT. with an Elder on the way.
Azeel turned into Rapid Fire Cannon, Hex Drinker, and he probably had a bit of gold left over as he had 6 items. And just put down a control ward, so Viper will take down some more standing gold. The 1,000 gold lead for Griffin. Again, Engage is unreliable for this squad, and 1-3-1 is tricky because almost every turret around the map is already down, both offensively and defensively for the side of Griffin. So no guarantee they'll get the fight that this comp is certainly set up to do well in. We wait with bated breath. SKT definitely once again did take a pretty big injury, losing the Baron there, getting so much gold onto the Kaisa. And yeah, we were right about holding on to gold. The Hex Drinkers turned into a more Mortius. Well, we know where Viper's going. It's aggressively only.
Yeah. Pyrion not going to be in sole possession of every kill yet. Bang was able to get some in that last fight. Pyrion did suffer his first death, but really good that he's showing support for Blank with his scoreline at the moment.
Here we are. This is the moment where Griffin could 2-0 SKT and really set up their candidacy for the first place spot. We know they are tracking behind KT, who do have their own destiny in their own hands, but KT already did Fly to Deceive and almost went down their most recent series to Jin Air, so no guarantees about KT in the stretch, no guarantees about Griffin either, but now they have a Kaisa, who is the VVIP for this Griffin lineup, and Tarzan and Viper playing around each other once again.
Knock down this inner tower here up top. A couple more shots from Viper will be enough to finish this one off, and yeah, Bang just can't do enough to try to clear out the wave. The Hen's pushing forward. He's looking for a target, pulls back to Tom Kench. Blank is nearby. Has that explosive cast to go ahead, push away the members of Griffin should he need to use it.
No lifesteal in the build from Viper outside of the fleet footwork, and Tal is just pushing an inhibitor.
Yeah, TP coming through.
How many?
There's the pressure him off. It's going to be 3.
Well, that's rude.
Okay, goodbye.
That's one way to kill somebody.
Yep.
But
I didn't think that needed much more play-by-play.
It did not. There was no lingering doubt about that one. Nothing Tal could do. Triple teleport, a lot of resources, but mid lane, they're looking at the Pyrion as well.
A realm warp here, but only Chovy arriving here.
How many members of SKT?
Tarzan trying to take it up into the front line. Chovy getting jumped on, kites his way back, pops a shield from the surface, embrace to keep himself alive. Bang has to be devoured. As Blank jumps away, flash going to be used.
Kaisa has no
Sword.
killer instinct and is still walking over.
Still pushing forward, slowed up, gets the knock up onto Bang. The Bone Skewer from the side pulls him in, but they can't get the execution. Tarzan still pushing in. Lahens finds another one, this time onto Effort. Viper gets pushed straight into the Tom Genshin sword. Is onto the back line. The Comet coming down nearly kills him. And he'll be able to get the killing blow in the end. Now looking for a little bit more. 2 members dead. The bot lane will be gone on the side of SKT on top of Tal, who died earlier.
They want to chase in with the minions and kill Pyrion here. Killer instinct will be up really soon.
This is just the dregs of SKT. Pyrion completely pinned into the wall. Nothing more that he could possibly do other than flash, and he would still almost certainly have died. Blank, he's pretty tanky. He's buying some time for Tal to come back in, but Griffin doesn't care. Sword's just going to keep pushing forward. We'll see how many tower shots he can tank, but it's going to be a lot. Tower's going to fall. Inhibitor getting ready to be taken down. Griffin maybe just looking for a finish right here, right now.
10 seconds left on Bang, but Pyrion's 30 seconds out. They're looking for the close.
That's going to be the first Nexus Tower under fire. Will get eliminated. The Rupture connects on the Tal, slowing him up. Exhaust coming down onto Viper. He's just focusing the Nexus turret here at the moment. He comes up for effort. He's going to go down. Let's see how many resets perhaps Lahens can get. They jump in onto Bang. He runs back to the fountain. And Griffin, 20-8 at the end of this game, come up with the victory 2-0 on SKT.
And it's a new tale. It's a new chapter in Korea, Achilleos. 1,947 days ago, Faker announced SK Telecom Team 1's entrance into the LCK stage, then champions with a solo kill over Ambition. Today, 1,947 days later, that door is shut by the new guns of Korea, the only squad to really compare to what those young players could do 5.5 years ago is Griffin. And these 6 rookies are now in the prime seat to finish first in the regular season. They don't control their destiny. KT can still get ahead of them, but they come in, they 2-0, and now KT Rolster has to follow in style. A 2-1 for KT would mean that Griffin are the top team with 1 match left to play.
KT now gonna look to overtake. This pendulum swinging back and forth, them getting first, Griffin retaking it. Gonna be swinging to the side of Griffin here at the moment. as they get that 2-0 win. So plus 13 scoreline for them. Just a great performance. You can see these guys, they have so much promise. Even when they go down early, they are able to take a mistake from an enemy team and just completely blow them out of the water, run with that one mistake and convert it into an advantage.
And the greatest significance for me is it's on new picks. This is not just the greatest hits of Griffin. The Rise mid lane, a new one from Chovy. That's an important takeaway. Some victories on the Cho'Gath that wasn't working. Viper hard carrying on Marksman is also something that's happened very rarely outside of a handful of Ezreal games earlier in the season. So they're opening up new stuff here. Our Griffin, great game from Lehens for me this time. This was a wonderful performance onto that Pyke pick that he's played with a little bit earlier in the season. SKT had their moments as well, but unfortunately, when all the gold was in the lap of Pyrian, he wasn't able to really convert into the shockwaves that he needed to, and around the map, Griffin were opportunistic in shutting down Tal and some of the other split pushing. So in the end, deserving victors. 20-8 does baby the fact this was a close game. So pretty damn late into it. All the Drakes amount to nothing on the side of SK Telecom T1. They've already confirmed to miss playoffs after game number 1. They go down 0-2, and it seems very likely that 7th will be the final spot for SK Telecom T1, their lowest finish ever in the LCK era by far.
I mean, they more than doubled their kills in such a short span of time. Remember, the scoreline was 9-6, and then all of a sudden we blink, and we look, and there's 20 there for the side of Griffin. So a very explosive finish to that game. Deliver a loss there to the side of SKT, and it's going to be Viper winning back-to-back MVPs. Now just one step behind Khan, tied with Lava. So maybe we see this new player in his debut split get the MVP of the summer.
People are comparing him already to a player like Faker when it comes to making a big impression in his rookie season. Really hard to argue too much. He has been one of the most promising debuts. To me, he is the most promising player to debut since BDD debuted a couple of years ago. BDD took a lot longer to fully deliver on his promise in his rookie season. Viper has been able to prove that he is a talent to be remembered. Watching some of the moments in this game, very clear when he won the MVP. His aggressive flash after the Baron was picked up, but also opportunistic when he needed to be. Griffin win 2-0 against SKT, and the cleanup man was certainly Viper.
I mean, just so aggressive with this pick. Always great to see. That's what the Kai'Sa is all about. That's why the ultimate, it doesn't do damage. It just puts you in a position to either do more damage or get killed. But Viper plays it extremely well. They see Tal in the bot lane. They see that dragon go over to SKT. They pull the trigger with the Realm Warp straight in onto the Baron.
And definitely not clean. Watch this Baron go from 2,000 to dead.
I mean,
2,090?
So yeah, so late to try to enter the pit. The Baron is already dead. The smite, or not even the smite, but you know, the smite's used. Viper gets the killing blow before the body slam comes over the wall.
But then Viper shows his aggressive instinct, and one time this game it was shut down. Remember, he teleported into mid lane, and that didn't work. But this flash in, the 1,100 gold cash in into a more Malmortius not 3 minutes later.
It's definitely worth a death.
That was definitely the icing on the top of the cake, and it's a delicious cake for Griffin. They did lose a few days ago to Jin Air. Don't control their destiny fully. All they could do was win 2-0 and then see what KT do. They did their part. They won 2-0.
Poor Pyrian at the end. He's going to get stuck in the wall.
Hooray for 5 second stunts.
Nothing to be done about that one. But yeah, back-to-back MVP wins for Viper. Continues to climb those standings as well as helping to keep Griffin on top of the LCK. So back into first place from them. Let's go ahead and hear from the 80 carry and see what he thinks about taking SKT out of playoffs. So Joel, go with the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview translations for SK Telecom, who did not become the victors over Griffin. And we're going to talk with the victors themselves, with also Viper and Tarzan as a further MVP interview. And right now, you have regular season, maybe a championship on the line, and an MVP championship on the line for you. It feels great to receive a lot of MVPs, but I think other players definitely could have gotten it. But I feel like my MVP points kind of reflect upon our entire team's performance doing well. Of course, maybe do you feel like he's really this humble, even at the team house, about the MVP points?
딱히 그 숙소에서는 MVP 관련돼서
In the team house.
얘기해가지고.
He doesn't really even talk about the MVP at the team house.
누가 봤든.
So it doesn't really matter who gets the MVP. It seems as if for Griffin and with Tarzan, this is Trundle. 10 games, all wins, and Trundle doesn't lose with you. What do you think? What do you think is the most important thing when you're playing the Trundle?
한타 때
When you're in a team fight, when you do soak up all the damage with the ultimate, it's gonna be really easy to play the Trundle there. Of course, there's a lot of more complex equations that go along with being a good Trundle player. But I'm sure you can share some insights on that as well.
앨리스 픽은 일단
Well, I mean, you talk about elites, and
줄 알았는데
I feel like that's something would have been a possibility, and
활약을 많이 못했던
never really got to do too much with it. Do you feel like you would bring it back out again?
언제든지 준비해가지고
I think anytime, whenever it's appropriate, I'll definitely play it again. With the Viper, and you used the Kaisa today, and really felt as if the nerf, the recent one that came through, made it sort of unusable. And maybe what your opinions on that again?
네네 이게 카이사는 좀 너프를 먹었는데
I think the Kaisa did receive the nerf, but the items have changed quite a bit. So, but whenever you do have the skill evolve, that becomes very interesting to kind of balance out the nerfs along with the buffs that happen to the items that kind of still fit Kaisa pretty well in this current meta. And right now, do you feel like it's going back to obviously the traditional ADC? Do you like using the non-traditional ADC, or do you like using the traditional ADC a little more? I do have a little more comfortability, just comfortable feel when I'm playing the ranged ADCs. Obviously, it's something I've been playing for a while, but whenever I do play the competitive modes, and I always try to just wait to see, if the non-traditional ADCs come back again, I'll be ready to play that as well. Well, some like the Vladimir does come to mind, but still the range ADCs still get my vote. And really just getting the favor of the Viper towards the range ADCs. And now we do get to see some of the highlights, to see a lot of the speculation as to what Viper was actually thinking when he made this kind of play. And safety, stability, security, nothing like that. Viper, you just went in all in by yourself. I mean, I was looking towards the ADC and also the Tom Kench, and I told everyone that I was going to go in. Of course, the Tarzan did help out with that, with the pillar in the end. I didn't think that, I thought it was a pretty good place to make an initiate, so we trust the Viper to make the plays there. And it feels as if you can be very aggressive even through such safety plays that you guys do show off, and really just impressive how you guys can maintain that balance. We actually thought that even the game one, it wasn't the best in terms of how it all started. Didn't look like an obvious win for you guys in the early game. Well, for game one and game two, I think the Trundle, when I was trying to get the Rift Scuttler, and I got into a little bit of trouble, so we knew it had to become Kindred. You had to be aware of that because it was a dangerous situation where the Kindred can get strong really fast, so we were definitely aware of that. And something that we were trying to trade out communication just to make sure that Kindred doesn't get too far ahead. And we knew that if it does get ahead, it would be very dangerous for our team. And even all the experts are acknowledging that Tarzan might be the best jungler right now that we have. How do you see him right now? I mean, whenever the game ends, and he does say that when he did well, and when we do lose, even after he plays well, he finds kind of fault in the picks and bans more than anything. So even if it's not about the laning phase, he doesn't blame on the laners, he just blames on the picks and bans.
감독님하고 워낙 그렇게 친하시니까 그렇게 말씀하시죠.
I'm sure you have a fun time just talking with the coach like that.
타잔의 멘탈 관리법. 같은 편 선수들에게 부담을 주지 않고.
So he doesn't blame his own teammates, he just blames the coach for the picks and bans. And him being such good friends with the coach obviously helps out with kind of smoothing that out. And we do go on to the game 2, and where the Baron call was sort of the big play that led to your guys' victory. And who made the shot call right here to go for the ultimate? We knew that, you know, we had the Rise, and I saw that most of the enemies were kind of split around the bot lane, and with the Tom Kench that had the smite, we knew we had to just beat out basically support in terms of leveling. And right when you were ending that out, and you just went in very aggressively, just trying to go for everyone here. And it seems as if with the Ezreal that did die out with the eventual pillar, obviously with the Rise W. And did you feel maybe Chovy would have deserved the MVP there? I mean, the Rise Orianna is a really difficult matchup for the Rise, and he played really well. So I think for the mid laner, I think it sometimes does come to a tragic end, but he did really well today. And you do have maybe Orianna. Do you feel a lot of pressure, obviously, because you have to be the one to kind of just not be very mobile? I knew that basically one pillar would kill out the Orianna, so I had confidence in myself. He does have a lot of confidence in his pillars. That's a good thing for Tarzan. But with Griffin, I think the win is the most important thing. But more important than that, maybe, is that this would get to maybe a contest in trying to get first place, and by match points. How much do you win by becomes a lot more important now. This is nearing the end of the season, and we have to just focus on just winning every game and not losing. And for the match points, we try not to worry about it. We were trying to just focus on our plays and our performance just to make sure we win in the best of ways and win in a way that we're very proud of, and try to come back at the end of the season as proud. It just feels like Viper's very focused on what's important. But now you guys do very well to contribute to another win for Griffin, and you do want to say something, obviously, with anyone you want to mention here. I mean, we can take away the first place, but the next game is our last game, so we want to focus on that and make it the most important asset, and we're trying to just prepare as much as we can for that one. And Viper, you want to say anything to the fans? We're kind of nearing the end of the season, and we do have lots of fans who have been, keeping out for us, and we do thank them for their support. Well, 12 wins is the first one in the LCK, and it was held by Griffin, and we'll see if they can maintain this run and maybe just get a first place in the LCK. That's going to be another question that we're going to be answering in time, but for the meantime, that's going to be an interview. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much, Joel. So, yeah, first place for the moment for the side of Griffin. SKT, after that Game 1 loss, eliminated from playoff contention. They cannot make it into the gauntlet, but they still have an opportunity to attend Worlds with the regional qualifier, but there's still a lot of stipulations surrounding even that.
But not their own scorelines. Very much about what other teams are doing. If SKT lose games 2-0, 2-1, they win games, that doesn't affect Worlds qualifiers, because only the top 5 teams get circuit points. They're not going to finish top 5 anymore, so there are no circuit points to be earned for SKT. Only 30 points, finishing 4th in spring season. Griffin, for now, will be top of the table. KT Rolster have 2 series to play next week, but will not be playing for a little while, and now going to have to be focused on being the clean, immaculate team that people meme about, and actually coming through and making that work. We'll have another one of our contenders in our second game of the night, another of the 11-5 crew. Gen G take on Jin Air Green Wings. Jin Air have done a lot of giant killing recently. There's no guarantee this is a clean 2-0 for Gen G.
I mean, they're back in 8th place at the moment, so not going to be going to playoffs certain for that squad. But also trying to stay out of that relegation zone. And they really have gone back to the roots of being the Robin Hood squad of the LCK, getting that most recent win over the likes of Griffin, and also just taking games away from other teams that you would never think that they are able to do that. But
They've definitely been better than expected. Guys, a bit of a longer break, about 45 minutes till we get started. So chill out a little bit, watch some LPL, and come back in 45.
Yeah, 45. So we'll see you guys then. Don't go anywhere. Gen G, Jin Air.
But you're the criminal. No implication, you're unpredictable. Time to lose control. System, but you're invisible. You're on a mission to take the city on. Time to lose control.
Coming up next, Gen G, Jin Air Green Wings, 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Summer Split.